Hello, all and y'all. Welcome to another episode of Riddle Dig. My name is StevenWeven. Today's episode takes us back to a time in Humboldt County, California, living the circus life in college, doing a lot of weird and great fun things. This was sort of a pivotal era for our group of circus folks, and then kind of just a crazy night that sticks with your memory for years and years, and I wanted to write about it, so here you go. Pretty fun little story and a short listen, so thanks for joining. No hippies were harmed in the making or telling of this story. A random guy jumped through the window. We were having a party that looked more like an acid test, and blast off was imminent. It was winter 2007. I lived in a house in the Arcata Bottoms with the Blar brothers, Terry Doodle, and Paco the Bird. All the usual monkeys were there. Dr. Bonkers, Free Love, Raggedy, Nah, Foothill, Grandma, Bloop, Bop, the Secretary, and plenty of other people with more traditional names. We were college students in a circus club who created shows and performed together. In 2007, we were really out there, but hitting our stride and honing our craft. The shows were expressive, fun, and we were pretty good. The quality of the footage is mediocre, but you can see some of the era's shows in the links of the show description. In the backyard, there was a small garden, a barbecue, and this particular evening, a fire pit and a drum circle. The noise crafted in the dense, moist winter air could beckon people like meat bees to a summer feast. All we got that night was the presence of the police, who were called for a noise complaint. We'll pretend to keep it down, sorry. And later a random guy looking for a party. That house was privy to many nights like this, fracturing preconceptions and barriers, all the while growing together and as individuals. We had momentum. Some dude jumped through the window and shattered it. Our energy was palpable. Light, sound, and subconscious frequencies emanated from the house and each of our lit-up monkeys. There were 3 big windows facing the street, each about 3 feet by 5 feet, a covered walkway on the outside, and an upcycled couch on the inside. The Grateful Dead was probably playing on the stereo when people weren't jamming on acoustic guitars and hand drumming on anything and everything. Intuitive, inspired movement was everywhere. We danced, juggled, hugged, laughed, talked, and engaged each other. The moment spoke, and we interpreted. If you're making a lot of noise in a small college town, people will find you, wanted or not. We were generally an inclusive bunch. Everyone was, of course, invited to shows and to practices and workshops. Those were open experiences. But this was a private party. We couldn't trust that a random anyone could handle the vibes, let alone contribute. Anyone in the house and the yard were vetted. Some dude probably heard, saw, or felt the vibrations and found us and wanted to join the festivities. He probably assumed we had a keg, some chicks, and that he could get fucked up and or lucky. He just came right in. I remember Foothill in full ecstatic dance mode, moving fluidly, smile beaming, part jellyfish, part water, lovely curving with the tides of the night. She saw the dude enter, and like a wave or tremor of evil came over her, her face contorted to the opposite of bliss and peace. The night's energetic high tide pushed her away from the house's entrance and away from the dude to protect the purity of her experience. She would not be the chick he tried to anything with. Seeing her completely given up to the party in the moment in one instant, shift to terror and self-preservation the next, is more than enough to make those of us who felt and were responsible for the evening's cohesiveness act swiftly. The Blar brothers and I greeted the dude before he made it too far into the living room and cordially informed him that this was a private event. For the safety and absurdity of our entheogenic group trip, our spaceship was at max capacity. Someone not on the same wavelength as us during blast-off, peak experience, and space travel was gravity. We were headed to realms beyond the confines of physics and space. Sorry, dude. There's the door. Here's a parachute. And take care. A person with a damaged ego pulled a hood over his head, took a running start, and defenestrated himself through one of our giant windows and mini blinds into the house, landing on the couch amidst thousands of shards of shattered glass and the guffaws of our troop of intrepid travelers. Who does that? The moment it happened. How can you remember an instant? I swear I saw it happen in real time, but knowing the aftermath, my brain may have constructed a visual just trying to make sense of it. Shock, awe, WTF, is this real? And then he was gone, back through the formerly intact window space, through the entryway, and into the night. The monkeys scattered away from the scene. The Blar brothers, I, and a few others ran into the street, adrenaline and testosterone peaking. We weren't going to go anywhere. We didn't want the guy at the house, and we surely didn't want to fight. The night was young, and there were horizons to explore, moments to create, and relationships to build. The police came a second time that evening, and a report was made. Imagine us calling the police after they were called on us hours earlier. Oh, the irony. The gap where the window was patched with cardboard and duct tape. Substantial cleanup was done by two very beautiful and sober ladies. As the party-goers scattered the house to continue tripping, I don't remember what I did for hours exactly. Probably a lot of pacing to see if everyone was okay, smoked more than a couple cigarettes, and tried to find my place while at my home. What to do with oneself in such an intentionally sensitive state, compounded by this sort of attack? It wasn't personal. We were fine, and even better than that. I'm glad no one was hurt beyond this dude's ego, and I hope he got something out of his system. I hope it's the only window he broke. Gravity can be a bummer if you let it hold you down, dude.